Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you, because I am the hero the Sports Jedi deserves, but not the one it needs right now. Long live Lexus King.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Heel of the Ring podcast here on the Sports Jedi Network. Like always, every week we have a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest from Federal Boricua, independent female wrestler. But first, let me say hello to my co-host, my partner in crime. What's up, Chris?
What is up, man? Yeah, I mean, I love doing these interviews. You guys all love these interviews. We got a bunch of people already here. What's up, Daniel? Shout out to you, brother. You know, we're really excited. So let's not waste any time, man. Let's go.
Yes, there is no salvation for a bad girl. The one and only Valentina Vazquez. Miss Valentina, welcome to the show. Bienvenido. ¿Cómo estás?
Hi. Can you guys hear me? I want to make sure you guys can hear me loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Hello. How are you guys?
Excellent. We appreciate you giving us the time here on here as we continue to showcase nuestra gente, nuestra cultura en la lucha libre and professional wrestling. I'm going to do a little Spanglish, so just to give a little sabor, because this Sunday is the National Puerto Rican Day Parade, and we got the Mike Santana Puerto Rican weekend coming up, and we're feeling proud. Aquí está la bandera. Estamos ready to go. Estamos huepa. Let's go. But I want to give Chris first the opportunity to go ahead, Chris. I always give you the first option of the questions, and go ahead, and it's all yours, Chris.
I just like to go simple for the first question because I like to lead up to some of the other ones. And I'm really excited for this one. What made you want to get into wrestling? What were some of the first matches you saw? Who was your favorite wrestler? What was kind of your introduction to professional wrestling? What company? WWE?
So my family is big into wrestling. My older brother really loved like WWE, who is a Bret Hart guy. So I don't remember what was one of the first matches I watched. It was one WrestleMania. I believe Shawn Michaels had won. I could be wrong, and I remember like everyone freaking out in the house, and then our grandfather came downstairs, and everyone left me, and I was like 4 years old, still celebrating on the bed, and I'm the only one that got yelled at, of course. Like so they all just left me. They all ran away, and I'm like, yeah, jumping on the bed, like I have no idea what's going on. Then he like comes and yells at me to go to sleep, and I'm like, all right, great. So it's kind of always been in my family. Like I continued watching it, and then my cousins were all part about it. So, who I really first loved was the Hardy Boys. I love them, and I loved Lita. Like when I saw her with Esterios, I was like, hell yeah, that's cool. So, like she's doing like flips off the ropes and stuff. I thought that was so cool because for a long time it was just like Sable and Terry Runnels and stuff like that, and it wasn't like. I mean, I like say as a kid, like that was the only person there, like Jacqueline, so at first you're kind of like, okay, that's cool. And then you see Lita, and then you're like, wow, that's really cool. Like, what I mean? Like, I really like that. Like, I've never seen any of the girls do that before. So it was like the Hardy Boys, and then I liked, Eddie Guerrero, and then the Brood, because I'm a little goth kid. Like, I love the vampire and them coming out.
Badass theme song.
Yeah, so first it was the Hardy Boys, which I really loved, and then it became Edge and Christian, which was cool, and they kind of fit more. They kind of had like a Lost Boy theme, like them all being blonde and all together. And I like then Eddie Guerrero, and then like Chris Jericho. I really liked. So I was definitely a cruiserweight girly at one point. Like I was kind of like my thing.
No, that I see where you're going because you talk about Lita and Sable and all these people. Correct me if I'm wrong. So early in your wrestling career, or recently or whatever, but I think it was a little early on, you were kind of like that Lita role where you were like a manager or valet type of thing. So when you got into wrestling, were you like a wrestler first and then you transitioned into that? Did you always want to start with that type of role? How did you get into that role? Because I think you mentioned Lita and Sable Nose, and just by looking at that, I can tell right away, because that's what you started off with, kind of. So what was kind of your mindset during that? Because I think it was pretty good looking back in your
Oh,
Instagram.
I lost my earring again. It's dead. We're done. Hold on, it's gone. So when I went to training, my trainer preacher at the time has said like it doesn't matter if she's a girl, just she's a wrestler. So I kind of was always being trained to be a wrestler, but like if you wanted to do anything else, if you wanted to be a ref or anything, they would do like separate things with that. So I started refing just so I can get comfortable in front of like a crowd.
That's probably why they were doing that, though. I don't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off, but that's probably why they were doing that, though, right? To like get you guys, you know, not just in the ring by wrestling, but like in the ring season, seeing the wrestlers up close.
Mhm.
Was that kind of their idea going into that?
Yeah, so that was kind of like, oh, you're doing it. Because I was always very like nervous. I'm actually really shy. That's like not really, but I am. Like I'm a very shy person. So that was their way of being like, yeah, you're gonna get over being shy kind of thing. And then Young Dumb and Broke came around. They were supposed to be like the Lost Boys, and I was Tinkerbell. That was kind of like the idea that came about Young Dumb and Broke. And I love those guys. Those guys are great. I'm glad that, Jordan kind of went a little bit all over the place, and I love that for him. And yeah, and then I became their manager slash valet. And yeah, I could see the Lita because it was like I came in at parts where like I would
And then
interrupt and ruin.
you would have
Yeah.
spots, and would you go on the mic a couple times and cut promos, or because you know how you mentioned you're shy, was there trying to like break you out of like your bubble, like get out of your comfort zone a little bit? Did you cut any promos in front of crowds when you were kind of being the valet?
Um, Not in front of crowds, but I did it on video. So we never really did
Okay.
anything on in the crowds. I think they only done it once or twice, the guys. So like there was never. I don't think they ever really had a moment in the ring where they spoke. But I did do like promos in like video wise. I was able
Like
to like,
social media, like you
yeah,
upload it to
yeah,
social media. Okay.
yeah. So I
Go
did
ahead,
it
Kev.
there.
Well,
I felt more, it's weird because once you're like, I got over it, once you're locked in, then you're just like, it blocks everything out. So you kind of just like become like that. Like that's when you're in that mode, then all of a sudden I'm not as shy anymore. And then I become like, because like, Valentina.
no, I like it, and again, you're doing a great job. Again, we appreciate your time. You're doing a great job. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Kev.
No, now when you were mentioning being a valet and cutting your teeth in those different areas, it looks like it molded you into becoming a really lengthy champion. I want to get to that, but I think that helped you. Seeing you able to see the aspect of appreciation from either a valet from the outside, seeing things breathe, or the registering, the selling, or even the promo cutting. I think it helped you, my opinion, to be a Victory Pro Women's Champion for over 622 days. Do you think that aspect helped you to prepare? And how did you prepare mentally for that? Because that's a long title reign and a very good one. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. It's still mine. I'm the forever champion. I never got my rematch, so I'm coming back for that.
There you go.
So yes, I do think being a valet and a manager really did help. I got to watch a lot of things. So when you're in training, you don't really see it. Like they tell you and you like, yeah, I get it. Like you're telling me and I understand what you mean. But then when you're like in there and in front of a crowd, then you see, oh, this is what they were talking about. Like now I understand what you mean. Like you have to adjust to what the crowd is giving you rather than you telling me and we're in the middle of like training and I'm like, there's no, what I mean? There's no one here. What do you mean? When you're there and then you notice it, or um being able to just be like a bitch. I don't know if I could curse, but
No, we're on
as
YouTube.
okay, as a manager and then building in that as a wrestler, like I got to see like, oh, I know now how to react to certain things. Um and I think if I just was a wrestler, I don't think I would have learned that as quick. I think it would have been very hard to be able to build into that character.
Fair on that one. That's a very good answer there, because listen, you could compare it to in a football term as a backup quarterback or a rookie quarterback going in and not going in right away into the field. You got the chance to let it breathe, to let the game slow down, and I think that was a very important development for me looking on the outside of your career, which is great. You know, you don't hear a lot of females going that long Roman Reigns type of range. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a real powerful moment. Let me ask this question. You've been around the different parts of the Eastern Corridor wrestling. What is your favorite city to go in and just say, you know what, I'm going to wrestle here and I'm ready. No matter what the crowd is, I'm ready. I'm going to be that heel. I think you work great as a heel. It looks like you like the embracing of the heel. Yes, that's great. That's for. What's the city that you know you could push that button?
The Bronx.
Oh,
Honestly,
let's
the
go.
Bronx.
My hometown. Let's go.
I haven't wrestled there much, but every time I have, the reaction has been always the best, I feel. I've wrestled in Queens, I wrestled in Brooklyn, but those are bar shows. So when you wrestle on bar shows, it's completely different. Like they react to anything. Yeah, the Bronx. I'm gonna say the Bronx. I love it there, honestly.
There you go. There you go. I love it too. But now I live in Orlando, so I'm a you on that one. Chris, you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm curious about a little bit, you know, first, that's kind of like a little two-part question, right? Where did you grow up in the sense, yeah, where did you grow up? Because, you know, I feel like when you're trying to become a wrestler, it's really important to find the best school in your area. Did you find one in your area? Did you have to travel to another state? Like, was there any in your area, let's just say in your area specifically? Like, how was it getting into a wrestling school when you first started?
So funny enough, one of my high school friends was doing wrestling at the time. And I was talking to him, like we didn't talk at one point, like, and then all of a sudden I was walking my dog and then I saw him and I was like, "Oh, you still live around like the area?" I didn't even know that. And then we talked about wrestling and I was like, "Oh, I'd really like to do that. You know, like you do, that's cool." And he's like, "Come to my school." And it was so CCW was by Philly. It wasn't in Philly. It originally was in Philly and then they moved to South Jersey, I believe. That could be the CCW lore.
Right, because it's like on the border of each other,
Yeah.
so it gets a little. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because there's a couple people that I think wrestled in that promotion that I know.
Yeah, so they're in South Jersey, which they're like if you go right across the bridge, then it's Philly.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So that was like an hour and 40 minutes away from me to train, and I was going there almost 4 times a week.
I feel like Pennsylvania, because I live in Pennsylvania. I live in Hershey, so I live in Central PA, and you know, I feel like choosing a wrestling school is like the number one important because you want to have a good trainer. You want to make sure your trainer is good, and you want to make sure you know that you're going to have good training. When Kev, you know, we talked about your title run, when you were champion for that long, how did you feel in terms of, you know, I'm the champion of this company. I feel like I really need to take my game to another level. Did you feel that type? I don't want to say pressure, but did you feel that in a sense as champion? Because that's like Kev said, well deserved, well good title run. That's a long title run. You're probably having matches. You're probably promoting. How does that aspect feel when you're champion for that long?
Yes. You know, they trusted you to be like their champion. And you always want to like have a good show. That may not always happen. There may be times where it just doesn't work. You know, that feels very disappointing because you're like, I'm the champion and I kind of want, you know, to have the crowd be entertained, and to enjoy me being the champion. So it was a lot of pressure. Sometimes like a lot. I like put a lot of pressure on myself. Because I always, you know, like want to improve every time I'm in the ring as well. So if I feel like I didn't, then I'm like really hard on myself. But I think all wrestlers are like, anytime
I
you
think
talk to them,
everybody. I think everybody. If you want to get good at your profession, I think even
that's
with
true.
us, trying to build what we're building here, I feel the same way.
Right.
Some, we feel the same way. We're all trying to make it in what we want to do. Um, when you talk about wrestling city to city, what was kind of your let's backtrack a little bit. When you're in the ring, when you're at your wrestling school and you're finally in the ring, you take that first bump, you learn how to lock up. What was your reaction? Was it was it hard? Was it you kind of picked it up kind of quick? How was that first kind of couple of weeks, months of your wrestling training?
A mixed bag. There's certain things you get right away, and then there's certain things you're like, I don't, I don't get it. Like you're kind of like, I'm trying over and over again, and it's not working. And then when it finally does, it's like a proud moment that you finally like got it together. So it was like mixed. Like there were certain things that I was like really good at right away, and then there was other things where I was kind of like not so great at. And then I really struggled in, and that became like a focus where I was like, okay, I'm not good at this, so we're just gonna pay attention to that a little bit more.
I love that. Go ahead, Kev.
No, you were saying that you were shy, and the way you're conducting yourself here, and you to me, there is no shyness. You are just so easy, free flowing. It looks
I
great.
agree.
Is that something that right now, as of right now, what is your strength in the ring? Is it your in ring, your promo, or your bumping? What right now is your strength, and what is your weakness? Sometimes you got to recognize. For us, we know what our strength and our weaknesses are as a podcaster, as an interviewer and stuff, and we know what our strengths are. So I'm asking that question towards you.
It's a good question. Um, so I think my strengths are promos, even though I don't love doing them. I do think like that is a strength. I like, because then I start second, third guessing myself, and then I'm like, oh, like that sounded stupid, and everyone's like, no, it's great, love it. And I'm like in my head, like, did it though? Like, okay, but I usually I've gotten a few times where people will be like, promos just like one of the things that I excel in. Weakness. I think self-confidence in the ring. Like I said, I second guess myself quite a bit. And I think in the ring, I do it quite often. I don't know if it shows when I'm out there. It's just I know that I have really like I always want to be better in the ring. And I just feel like I know other people will be like, "That's my the best thing. I'm great at that." And I'll say like I can always improve more in ring for sure. Yeah, I because it's just more of like a second guessing like and everyone will be like, I don't know why you're second guessing yourself. And I'm like, I don't know, it comes natural. And I think most people do. I just don't think they admit to it per se, especially in wrestling. I think everyone's like, oh, you have to be confident. Love that. I agree. But I think people never want to admit that they second guess themselves in the ring as well.
Okay, I have a follow up on that one. When you go to your match and you want that advice, because I know you have a great bond with your one of your trainers with Preacher. Do you talk to a Joe Gacy because he's also part of that school? Because right now he's in the WWE, and who is the one guy you say coach, or I don't know if you call him coach, or so. Can you critique my match? Give me some advice. What am I doing wrong, and so forth? Who is that 1-2 guy or gal that you just go to?
I have gone to Gacy a few times, and he always answers. Like, he's a great, like, very humble, still, like, will answer if you message him. I tend to talk to Gabby Gilbert, who's also my tag team partner. She was also the trainer at CCW. I've gone to her a few times because a lot of times when you speak to men trainers, they have a male perspective on things, and that's fine. I don't It's nothing against that. Like sometimes you need that. Like sometimes you do need the male perspective, but it's like they're not in the ring as a female and with other female wrestlers. So I don't think they fully get what, like if you're asking them a question, they will give you very like that makes sense, but not for here. And I think she has the experience, and she also understands where like a lot of where I'm asking for advice. She understands what I'm like. I may not be able to express it completely, but she understands immediately what I'm trying to convey.
Oh, fair question. Fair question. What is the challenge that you have as the female wrestler compared to the male? Because we is it the getting the crowd over, getting them energized, getting them go over, or getting them to see your grabs or your in-ring ability, or rather than the exterior? What is the toughest challenge?
Both. I think mostly it depends on what crowd and where you're at, really, with that. So I think some places they'll watch women's wrestling and know that, this is a match. And then there's other times where you go somewhere and you can tell that to them, oh, it's time for us to go to the bathroom, or it's, I'm not really going to pay attention to it. So then that kind of ruins the vibe that you're like, it ruins your vibe. Like when you're there and you can clearly see that they're not here or they don't care to see you. I still, if I'm a heel, I just become more of an asshole at that point. Like, okay, you don't want to see me, that's fine. I'm just going to call you out on it. It's when you're a baby face that you're like, come on guys, let's go, like, and it's very hard to convey. It's for me personally, like I if I feel the vibes are off, then I'm like, how do I try to get them back in? And sometimes it's you just don't reel them in. They're just very like, I don't care about women's wrestling, they don't want to watch it, and that's it. And sometimes that causes other people, other opponents wanting to do kind of more like what the men would do, like, and I'm like, yeah, but we're not guys, like, you know what I mean, like, and I understand where you're coming from, but they want to do, like, if you can do a flip, great, love that, but if they want to do all that stuff, let them do that, right? Because if we're on after them, what are we doing differently?
I
um
like that answer.
yeah, so you kind of, so like I get where it comes from, because then you're like, oh, we have to do all this stuff so the crowd can be into us. But I think if you just do a solid, like if you have 5 minutes, a solid 5 minute match, and you just show that, like, even if you do a mess up, you just get past it, I think they will like it, or they will appreciate it in a sense. And it's hard, like wrestling is a dance. So if your partner is not on the same
Yes.
page as you, then that causes okay, where can I go for advice? How do I fix this for the next time?
Here's an advice. You never know. Even if there's a room full of people and they all say they're going to the bathroom, there's always, to put it this way, there could be one Pritchard, there could be one scout from either the WWE, AEW watching you, and you only need to impress that one person. So when people tend to give you that, I'm going to the bathroom break, just keep that in mind. That's that one person could be the one person that could change your life, and just go out there and wrestle. Like whenever we do it, you don't know who in this YouTube or in this algorithm is listening to us. I mean, and you never know where it could open the doors for us. That's the way we treat it. I'll give you that word of respect. You never know who is watching, and you just got to be on your P's and Q's, because you only get a first impression. And if you hit it out of the ballpark, you're gonna knock it out. And I love that answer you said. If you got 5 minutes, make those 5 minutes work, and you don't have to repeat or copy and paste what the match prior to you. You're gonna do your match. You're gonna tell your story with your dance partner at that moment, and you're gonna, if you're a babyface, sell the art of the struggle. If you're a heel, just go over with your heel work, get the crowd to despise you, to hate you, and help that comeback for that babyface. I love your answer, and I love your mindset. Great job, Valentina. To me, phenomenal answer. I'm just fascinated with it.
Thank you. I
Chris?
speak to a lot of vets. I think that's where it comes from, where I'll ask them a lot of, not ask, it's just general like conversation, and I think they just, hey, did you do
Sometimes
this
it's more
instead?
giving you the advice, sometimes more than wrestling, but sometimes the life, because those guys have been there, they've seen it, and they want to help somebody up and coming like yourself. But speaking of the good vibes and the good matches, what are some of your favorite matches you've had? Against who? Against your certain? Who's your? Is whether it's certain opponents, whether it's that one dance partner, whether it's that one city. What was specifically one of your favorite matches you could recall so far that you've
Um,
had?
so I always have to talk about the no ring match. It's one of like the most famous matches that I have essentially. Anthony is a great guy and great
The
in
art
ring
gallery, right?
partner. What?
The art gallery match. The art gallery
Yeah,
match you
yeah,
had.
yeah, yeah. It was funny because I think as soon as we got there, I was like, okay, you guys have to go now, and we were like, what? And I was freaking it because that's like when really essentially like started. So I'm
So you were a
freaking
little
out.
more green,
Yeah,
as
and
it. Yeah.
I'm like freaking out, and he's like, don't worry about it. We just go out there and follow. Like, just we know. Okay, I'm like, okay. So it kind of like it just flew, like just flow. Like even when there was like little mistakes here and there, I don't think it was like a big. I didn't have time to think about it. Essentially, in that match, and I didn't let myself drown in the mistake that I did. So that and he's a great in ring partner. Like is essentially a leader. You know what I mean? Like I don't have I don't think anyone has to worry about being lost or like having a bad match with him. I also love Anastasia Morningstar. She's essentially like every time I've wrestled her, I feel like we've had a great match every time. I mean, I've only done it like 3 or 4 times, but I always love the matches with her. And we have like a great chemistry with one another where we'll just like it just works. It's just I love her. Like she's great. And she also is another one who won't allow you to like let yourself stoke into that mistake either. Like let's go. Like you know what I mean? Like no
No,
time
I
on
love
that.
that
Let's
because
go.
I have a little follow up on that. When you're talking about your opponents, making sure we're on the same page. I'm curious. Have you been in tag team matches before? Have you
Yeah, I
been?
have.
What's your do you enjoy the tag team wrestling? How is that kind of the difference with the singles? How is it more harder to make sure everyone's on the same page due to the fact that there's 4, maybe 8 people in the ring?
Um it's It's got its pros and cons. Sometimes I like it better than singles. Sometimes I like it better than singles. And then other times I'm like, "Ugh, I just let's go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's let's get it together. Like, we can do this. Like, it depends on who your opponent is. It depends on who your partner is. And Gabby is my tag team partner now. We don't do it as often, but I think me and her like it's like we have the same language without like I don't really have to say much. She'll
Right.
understand what I'm saying. And then if someone else is confused, then she'll be like, "Oh, this is what she's meaning. Like this is what we would do." Um so it's sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. It just really is on how the match is or how it's conveyed, what the story is. There's sometimes where it can get confusing if a lot is happening. Like
Right.
all of a sudden there's a waterfall and you're like, what is going on? Like there's too many of us go like, what's going on? What's happening? But that's also the best thing, right? Like you have your partners there like, do this because if you're a heel, then you could just tell like I clearly can tell by your face you're lost. I'm just gonna say, hit them right here and do this, like because it's your tag. I know I'm telling secrets now. It's your tag partner where like you can ease and help them. Or I try
You,
to. I don't know if that's every tag team, but I know we do.
but you were able to catch your gold with Gabby. So you were tag team champions. You're still currently or you
Yes,
guys
we're still currently Funhouse championships. Yeah.
Funhouse tag team champions.
Hmm.
That's a great job there. That's kudos because now you continue to bring in your championship pedigree from not only your long range as an individual singles, now as a tag team and of course with a mentor as well, because you mentioned earlier someone you go to advice and a female. So phenomenal work there as well. You ladies working together. I want to ask this question. I know you have a match coming up, and I'm going to put the graphic up at respect. This is a tough one match here. You're taking on. Talk to me about your opponent. Have you scouted her yet? Have you seen her? Because she has a martial arts background here.
Yeah. So we originally had a triple threat. Me, her,
Okay.
JC Storm. But triple threats are completely different than a singles match. And yeah, those kicks, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like trying to duck and dodge so I don't have to get hit by them. They're kind of brutal. I'm excited for that match. I'm super confident for that match. Completely, yay! I've watched I've watched a lot of her stuff, and I know like sometimes like I'll watch stuff that comes on TikTok, not TikTok, on Twitter or X. I call it Twitter to this day.
We still do.
Yeah, it's Twitter. I'll see stuff. I'll see clips and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Or, oh, that looks like I'm in for a battle. I'm in for a severe battle. Yeah, I'm ready. It's war. I'm ready, but you kind of have to keep your eye on it.
No, I'm interested in that one because on that card, not only yourself, we also have some of our friends of the program. We're gonna have Matt, the Uptown Boys are gonna be part of that. Yourself is gonna be there, so it's good card there. We're gonna keep an eye on. Also, Brooklyn Outlaw Donovan, we had him on last week as well. So our friends there are gonna be on that card. All you guys that we have the privilege to speak with. Awesome. I'm happy to see you guys are coming in that guard there on the 19th of July. That's gonna be fun. Hope all you guys tear the house down on that card there. My question here, I know we talked to you. You've been in the ring with JC Jane. You have your tag team partner. Any chance in a promotion we might see the Major League Blondes versus you girls in the tag team?
I'm down. Like I know we were trying to get to Puerto Rico. So that's one of the goals. So if they're there, we're there. I'm so down for the battle. I would love to. I mean, I love JC. I know, and I know them both. And I love them both. I think they're great girls, and I think they're great opponents. So I would be excited for that match. So if anyone wants to, I'm free. I'm up to it.
Let's go, Espiritu. Let's go, Espiritu Pro Wrestling. We got something going on here, or Three Legacies, or let's go, Gremlin House. Let's go, House of Glory. We got some ladies that want to go at it. We got four. Let's go. Let's do it. If I was a booker, let's go. Chris, you get me.
Gabby, the only not Puerto Rican in that match.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's go.
She's honorary Puerto Rican. There you go.
There you go. Honorary. There you go.
I like to ask this. What are some of your future goals when it comes to pro wrestling? Is it to wrestle outside of the country? Is it to experience different crowds? Is it to win more gold? What's kind of your upcoming goals as you have a really long wrestling career ahead?
So I'm trying. I don't want to say because I don't want to jinx it, but I want to go to Chile. It's something that I've been trying. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's in the works. I know they don't have like a big scene, but they have like a scene that's there. And they've come to CCW to train a lot of those guys. So I essentially like we hung out and we talked. And so I'm kind of like fingers crossed that I'm able to go down to Chile. I was supposed to go like right before Christmas, but that was like it was right before Christmas. It was a little tough for me to be able to make that journey. And I want to go to Australia and like go UK. I would love to wrestle in the UK area. I haven't gone that time. I mean, I've been to Canada, and that's kind of like the only real
Japan question mark.
Oh, I mean, if I can get there, 100%. But I don't. I heard I don't know who I gotta connect with to be able to get there. I kind of have like a sprinkle of like people who I can get to Australia and kind of get to the UK. Japan, I'm kind of like I don't know who I gotta ring a ding to get to be able to get over there.
I mean, I think it'll happen. So you've never wrestled outside of the U.S. before?
Just Canada.
Just Canada. Okay. Did you see a difference in the crowds and how different since you've been to only one country? Have you seen some differences between how wrestling fans or your crowds do things here rather than over there? Or is it the same because they're all wrestling fans at the end of the day?
So it was an all girls show. So I think that might have been, I could have
Okay.
seen the difference there. But they were like really into it. They were very like, I don't know if there was a lot of wrestling in that area, so that might possibly be why. But they were like really into it. And I think the Northeast is very like privileged to have as much wrestling as they do. There's like
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there's
yeah,
that. Because I live, like I said, I live in Pennsylvania, so
there's
we
a lot
have
of
everything.
companies.
Whether it's Jersey, Phil, especially being only an hour and
Connecticut.
40 minutes, Connecticut, but especially being only an hour and 40 minutes away from Philly. Because I was there last week during the NWA Cup, and there was a couple other things like we're like you said, like our area, like we're really lucky to have that. And there's so many schools and so many promotions. Like I don't know about, like, we're finding that out more as we interview all these great talent. We're finding out that there's so many. It's in our area, in my area though, and like it's crazy, Kev. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I'm so like completely privileged. So I think the difference when you go to Canada and like here, they don't get a lot of rest. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think in that specific area that we were at gets a lot of wrestling.
Especially
Uh,
independent wrestling, right?
And
yeah,
women,
Yeah.
so
women wrestling
for
too.
Yeah.
yeah, so they were different. And I think when you're in the Northeast, I guess they just kind of like, I'm not saying that they're not grateful. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. I just think that for them, it's very like, I can go anytime. And I can see whoever. And I think that's the difference where like some of these people, they'll go to the same shows every Saturday. Like you'll see them. It's the same
Yeah,
like
in my local school too, because I go to the Ricardo Rodriguez, Jesus Rodriguez owns the school right down the road, and the same. Every time I go to the shows, it's like we all know each other's names. Like they know my content, like the channel, like they know my like it's. To me though, and that's why we love doing this is because I feel like the community. Do you feel that way too with the community of like the fans in those shows? Because like you could watch the WWEs, the AEWs, the TNAs, but when you watch, guys like you and girls like you who are like us, just normal people doing it, like I bet the community's way stronger.
Yeah, I mean, so when CCW used to do JoJo Wars, there was the same people over and over again, and they like loved it, no matter what you did, like no matter what. And it was interesting because then you got to know them, and like you got to be able to like have a rapport with this group. And I think being able to build that relationship with fans makes them appreciate the product and you more. And it would just be interesting because to me, I'd be like, you guys come every time, and like you see the same people, and I love it that you guys love it. Like it's it's very like endearing to see something like that where you're just watching it and you're like, yeah, and like we haven't done social wars in forever, so I haven't even gotten to like see the same people. But then when I see them in other places, they'll be like, oh my god, Valentina, I haven't seen you in so long. And they're incredibly sweet, and like they're like one of your like first people that became your fans essentially. So I think having that small community is like really ideal and essential for people who are new or up and coming for sure, like to be able
Especially, yeah.
to build that, to be able to build a character with them. I think it's very beneficial.
Awesome. I always ask this question, and I think I always ask this question. If I have ability to tell you tomorrow, we're going to stamp your passport. You have options to go to wrestle anywhere in the world. Would it be England, Australia, Japan, the Caribbean, maybe Puerto Rico? I know you said South America. Tomorrow, we're going to give you a 6 months or 6 weeks tour. Where would you go? Where are you packing to?
Oh no. Oh no. Uh so honestly, I think like probably the UK. And I only say that because you can go anywhere from there, right? Like I'm in the UK, but then I can go to Germany, I can go to Amsterdam. I think they have like you're able to go to multiple places, even being right there, and you're able to wrestle in different um countries. rather than like I'm in Japan and then I have to fly like 5 hours to go out to go somewhere else. Um, Not that like why would you? Because it's Japan. But I'm just using that as an example. Like I
Good
think that
logic.
would, yeah, like I think like being able to go to as many places at once would be really cool. Like the idea of traveling and like spending time in different places would be awesome. So I think over in the UK.
That's cool. That's cool. I like to hear that, because we always ask that. Have you wrestled in Puerto Rico yet?
No, I've never.
Oh, we gotta get going. We gotta start getting the movement going and have people. We gotta hashtag. We gotta see Valentina in Puerto Rico. Let's go. We gotta get it there, man. Definitely, man. WWC. We gotta do so. Espiritu. Let's gotta make sure we get that going.
I would love to. I
Oh
honestly
man.
would.
I think everybody would like that opportunity. I wish as a fan, I wish I was at Backlash for WWE for Puerto Rico. That looked like amazing, or
Yeah.
any wrestling event. I think that's going to be a bucket list of mine. So even if it's a independence, to go to Puerto Rico and watch wrestling, because my grandfather got my backstory. My grandfather got me into wrestling back in 1984, before WrestleMania 1. My grandfather, he taught me about WWC, but Puerto Rico wrestling, and from all different stuff. And I would like to go to Puerto Rico and watch a wrestling. Independent, I don't care, as long as it's lucha libre wrestling. That's something that I got to get on my bucket list. I want to sit there as a fan and watch it. So I'm pretty sure as a wrestler, as a performer, that's something that might, you would love to, especially from the heritage. Chris has a great question about representation, Chris.
You know what? Yeah, I'll end it on that, because that's usually the last question I like to ask. Again, thank you so much. I want to know this question, though. When it comes to, representation of your culture, how important is that for you, in the sense of, going out, maybe, Valentina, maybe in putting it into your name, your gimmick, or just letting people know where the hell you're from, like in your culture wise. How important is that to you to represent?
So it was weird because with Young Dumb and Broke, I was like the Latina of the group, but we never like specifically talked about where where like my family comes from. So I'm from New York, so dang, I'm not from the island. Like I'm from the other island, New York City. But I never got to be able to really talk about it. Sorry, my cat is like attacking, like he's like play mode right now. I never got to actually express like I don't know if most people know I'm Puerto Rican. Like they think they know I'm Latina and they know, but they don't. I mean, they probably look at me and be like, she's Puerto Rican. But I don't think most people think I'm Puerto Rican, because I don't think when they thought I was from Philly that I was. So I mean, I would love to express it more. It's just something that like it never really like came up. But for the Valentina Vazquez, like being able to have a Latina name and being able to say like I'm Latina, like I'm here, and there's there's Lucha Libre is like, I feel like more South American or like Central, and I feel like a lot of the Caribbean doesn't probably get looked at for wrestling. Weirdly enough, even though we have like Damian Priest and all that, I don't know. I just feel like I never really had the opportunity to be like, I'm Puerto Rican. And here I am, because I feel like there's a lot of Puerto Rican shows and I never really like, I don't think they know I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm never really included in them.
Oh,
so we hope this interview, hopefully this interview in the spotlight get that you are a Puerto Rican luchadora, wrestler from Puerto Rican descent, of course. Nuyorican, if you want to say like us, like myself. Yeah, of course. There you go. We're Nuyoricans, but we're proud of being heritage of Puerto Rico and all, and we want to make sure that lucha libre, when you're announced or from Puerto Rican descendant, you're from Puerto Rico, not from the Caribbean, like Carlito used to be. Remember how Carlito was never from Puerto Rico, it was from the Caribbean. Yeah. No, now it's okay to say you're from Puerto Rico. Why did we have to wait for Logan Paul to say he's from Dorado, Puerto Rico? Bullshit. It should be Carlito from Puerto Rico. not Logan Paul. That's also why we're passionate about spotlighting the representation in Lucha Libre with Puerto Rico, what they have given to this industry, this beautiful art form. And that's why we're so passionate about making this videos and talking about and having this conversation, so people to get to know Valentina, Vazquez, to find out and get her bookings, get her all over, up and down, not just the independent scene, hopefully a major company down the road, NXT tryout, or All Elite Wrestling, or TNA, or Stardom, get something going for Valentina, and not just Valentina, anyone that's inspiring and hungry that wants to make this beautiful art form to showcase to the world. That's why we're here. And I want to ask this question. I'm the booker. I'm gonna be booking. They gave me the pencil. They gave me the notepad. WrestleMania coming up. I always ask this question: who is the person you would love to wrestle at a WrestleMania card this year? You could give me one current, and you gave me one from the past. It's two-part. Who would it be? A tag team? You say, Kev, BX Jedi Kev, I want so and so for WrestleMania. Go for it.
It can be anybody. By the way, it does not have to be WWE.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a wide question. Anybody? Because I would love to say Eddie Guerrero, because he's phenomenal.
You're not the first person to say that on
You're
the
not
show,
the first person to say that. Yep.
I also would like to say AJ Lee. I love her. I know I didn't mention her before, but I love AJ. She actually sparked my interest back into wrestling, because I kind of backed off for a little while, and then AJ and CM Punk were kind of around, and I was like, and then she brought back the spark for me as a fan for wrestling. So it's very but Rhea's really good. That's a really good question. Rhea Ripley's phenomenal. She's really. Honestly, one of the best. I'm gonna say, that's a really hard question to give, because there's so many stardom girlies. It's just, oh wow, that's
Hey,
let me just.
Valentina, WrestleMania has 2 nights. I don't mind booking you 2 nights.
I would just say, I'll say Eddie Guerrero. I'm gonna be like everyone else, like Eddie. And then so past and then new, I would say Rhea Ripley. So there you go. Past and new. Yeah.
Nice. That's a good one there. That's a real good one. We're definitely. I want to ask one more. You're still with Dragonheart, am I correct? Part of that tag team. You still work with Dragonheart?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was my brain glitched for a second. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So any other than that card that we showed earlier, anything upcoming short term? I know you have one in July. Anything this weekend? Because we like to promote and make sure that your word gets out. If anyone in those areas could go see you.
So I have a wrestling match in West Virginia. It's WTWA. I'm probably butchering it, so I apologize. I've wrestled there before and I loved it. The crowd was great. I'm in a triple match, but it's honestly it's an all female show as well. So I really hope that they show up there. I've heard that because the last 2 I wasn't able to make it. They got a pretty good crowd, and the girls that were there loved it. Gabby will be there as well, so that's funny.
Cool.
But yeah, that's my most up and coming right now. It's this Saturday.
Oh, this Saturday. Okay, I'll find it, and we'll. If you want to DM me the poster, we're gonna promote the crap out of it. Just send it to us, because we always put our actions with our words. When we always want to promote you ladies or the guys that come on and make sure that people are in those areas and buy that. Or go there. Right now everyone complains about the big companies being too expensive. I tell everyone, support your local independent show. You're gonna get a good wrestling show. You're gonna get entertained. You're also you're inspiring up and comers. You're inspiring people that are living out their dream in this art form. Go ahead and support. Let me ask this question: any bookings or any in Florida, I'm in Central Florida, I'm Orlando. We'd love to, if you come down here, let me know. We'll definitely want to stop in, support, go myself and watch you and say, hey, I'm Sports Jedi. Great to meet you. And definitely would love to support you when you come down to Central Florida.
Yeah, I would love to. I know Shine was at one point. They were asking for new people, but by the time I messaged, they were already booked. So I definitely would love to come down to Florida. I've heard great things and a lot of promotions down there. And I heard down south wrestling is very interesting and fun. I heard a lot of people like wrestling down south, so would not mind going to Florida and wrestling.
Yes, CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling in Kissimmee, over down to down all the way down Doral, South Florida. Also, House of Glory is opening up soon in Orlando, Florida. So they're opening up a new school, probably some shows. So maybe inquire to check. Maybe you could get some bookings down there. If you do, that's close to me. I'm being selfish. I definitely go to visit. I definitely hey, I got to put out there. If you come out here, we definitely would love to see that. There's some great shows down here. We want to see you to get some booking. We want to see you to get bookings, and we want to be able to see and just again cheer you on and see where this and can see your growth in this industry, in this business going forward. We definitely love that there. Hey, there she is. There she is.
Yeah, she woke up from her nap. The real star.
There you go. Well, yeah, like I said, we babysit a few of them, and they are fun. My wife does a lot of dog sitting. They're fun. All right, so we want to end it here because I know you're busy and you probably came out from work and all that stuff. We want to make sure you get going. We appreciate your time. We thank you so much. Right there, you see her bookings. I'm going to put this up here for anyone who would love to have her bookings. Email her at Valentina Vazquez 627@gmail.com. Please, if for serious inquiry, please, she wants to continue to get her summer filled. Fill her summer up for all those wrestlers, promoters. Definitely, if you know someone, if anyone of our friends that follows and knows, and you know the booker, and they need a female talent, there it is. Give her email. She's right there. She's ready to go. She's locked and loaded. She's ready. She's got that forearm ready to go. She's ready to do it. But hey, Valentina, muchas gracias. Gracias por joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yes. This is the Heal the Ring podcast here. Don't forget to like, subscribe. This is going to be an audio platform as soon as we go off the air. If you like it, share it, subscribe, leave a comment. It will also help if you leave a comment to Valentina as well. Show your appreciation. All her information is there. There's merch. On the video, you have her pro tees. Please, one way to support independent wrestlers as well, purchase their merchandise. If you can't make it to the show, a t-shirt, no problem. Get a t-shirt, get something. It helps. It tells them you appreciate them wrestling. You like what they're doing, and you're encouraging them to continue in this beautiful art form of wrestling, professional wrestling. And that's what we're here for. This is the Heal the Ring. Muchas gracias a todo el mundo. Que Dios lo bendiga. We'll see you next time. May the sports be with you. We'll see you next time. I'm going to run this outro.